No one really talks about how terrifying it is to wonder if you're losing your child. Like, not losing them physically, but losing the connection that you want to have with your child, losing the relationship. And then there's even the sense of like losing the family that you work so hard to build. And if I'm being honest, I think that parents that are listening right now might even feel tears well up because you've never really actually said words out loud. I mean, what kind of parent thinks this? That you love your child, but you might not want to be around them, or you love your child, but life is easier when they're not here in the family. Like, family times are better and things go better. And so, you might be thinking like, oh no, like what kind of parent would even say that out loud? But I know that happens even though you love this child fiercely, and even though you fought for them, and you would do whatever you needed to do to advocate for them, to you've researched what to do, you've read the books, you've sat through appointments, and you spent sleepless nights trying to figure out what else to do. And yet you still find yourself wondering, like, what if this never gets better? What if this child ends up hating me? What if our family never feels peaceful? And what if I can't do this any longer? If that's you, I want you to hear me today. You're not alone. You're not a bad parent. You're a parent that's caring a lot more than most people see. Today, we're going to talk about fear and grief that comes with parenting challenging kids, and how to move from that desperation to steadiness. Because, I can't promise to make your child easier. I can help you to find your footing again. This particular mom came to my office. She was very successful, intelligent, the kind of mom who's done everything right. She's read every book, seen all the specialists. People come to her for advice. She spent thousands of dollars trying to help her child. And finally, with tears running down her face, she just said, I don't think I can do this anymore. And then she corrected herself. I mean, obviously, I'm going to do it. I mean, I don't have a choice, but I don't know how much longer I can feel like this. And I have never forgotten that moment. And I wish that I could tell you that she was the only parent that's ever said that to me, but she's not. And I know that when I adopted my son, that there were times, and even knowing everything I know and how many families I've helped, that I thought, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I can do this. I've heard this, or versions of this, like hundreds of times, because parents that are working this hard, that have challenging kids, you're exhausted and scared and losing sleep, especially if they're not sleeping. And sometimes you're watching your marriage strain and all your other family relationships, wondering if you are even going to be able to recognize yourself. Or maybe you feel like you already don't recognize yourself anymore. But here's the thing. I don't think you're lazy. You're not selfish. It's not that you don't care. Often you are fighting harder than most people. The hardest part is not the behavior. I've worked with families for over 20 years, and I've learned something. It is what the behavior does to the family. It's the resentment between spouses. It's the not being on the same page about how to handle what's happening. It's the siblings who stop inviting friends over, who don't want to go if this child's going to go. It's the parent that no longer trusts themselves. It's feeling like your whole life is revolving around preventing the next episode. And it feels like this child is controlling the entire family. And everything is revolving around this child and trying to prevent something bad from happening, or public embarrassment. Listen, the movies have lied to us a little bit. They showed family game nights, but they didn't show Monopoly ending with somebody flipping over the board or the entire table because they started to lose, or one child sobbing because the pizza touched their salad. What they don't show is the dog hiding under the couch and mom Googling, can stress make your hair fall out? We laugh because if we don't laugh, sometimes we're going to cry. But underneath the humor, there's grief. And I know that this isn't what you... I think parents carry grief that they don't even realize that they're carrying. Grief for the family life that they imagined, grief for the ease that they thought would come naturally, grief over holidays that become survival exercises, and grief over vacations that aren't vacations, or maybe grief that you don't even go on vacations anymore. Grief wondering if you're ever going to enjoy parenting again. And grief doesn't mean that you don't love your child. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that something precious that matters to you deeply is happening, and you're feeling that loss and that not knowing what to do. You can love your child fiercely, and you can dread at the same time what happens after school or summer vacation or the holidays in general. You can love your child fiercely and you can miss your spouse. And you can love your child fiercely and you can worry about your health. And you can love your child fiercely and wish that things were different. Love and grief coexist. And hope and exhaustion also coexist. You don't have to choose. You don't have to feel like a bad parent because you're feeling all of that. So what do we do? Okay, what are we going to do with all of this? Because I don't want you walking away thinking, well, that was depressing. First of all, we're going to name the fear. Fear sounds like, what if my child never graduates? What if my marriage doesn't survive? What if my other kids what if I'm ruining my other kids? Fear lives 10 years in the future. And instead, I want you to ask, what needs my attention today? You don't have to solve adulthood before bedtime. You just have to parent the child that's right in front of you. And I want you to shrink that timeline. I tell parents all the time, don't parent the child in the future. We are parenting for a better future, but we're dealing with right now. Because in your child's brain, there's now and not now as well. And so we want to parent the moment that you're in. So instead of, what if they never have friends? I want you to ask yourself, what does my child need tonight? What are we going to do right now about this? Like they got in a big, fight with all the neighborhood kids. What are we going to do about this right now? Instead of going to the fear of, oh my gosh, like this always happens and no one's going to ever want to play with you. And you're going to need to regulate yourself. I know. I wish I had a different answer for you. But when my nervous system is screaming, I don't make the best parenting decisions. Nobody does. And when you're so stressed out, it's very, very hard to see any other options. You just see what's right in front of you. It's like you start to get tunnel vision. So before you respond, you're going to need to take a breath. Maybe go drink some water. Walk outside. Call a friend. If you've got me as your coach, you're going to call me. You're going to pray. You're going to do whatever helps you to become even just 5% more steady. Not perfectly calm, because not every situation needs you to be so calm that it's like you're not there. And not to completely isolate, but just think about lowering your heart rate just a little bit, getting your brain to calm down, because steadiness is going to change everything. And also, a lot of times everything's coming really fast, and think about ways that you can hit that pause button and make things kind of slow down. The other thing I want to tell you is that you need to stop doing this alone, because fear grows in isolation. Desperation grows in isolation, and shame grows in isolation. You need people. You need support. You need a community. You need a coach. You need friends that aren't going to judge, someone that can say, you're not crazy. Like, this is really hard. Let's figure it out together. Outsource this part. I'm going to say something to you that I want to say really carefully. Therapy matters. Medical care matters. Med management matters. School support matters. Respite matters. You don't have to do this alone, because these are all parts of parenting that can't be, because there are parts of parenting that cannot be outsourced. And so outsource the tutoring, and if you can, the housekeeping, piano lessons, all of these things, right? But you can't outsource attachment and connection. You can't outsource how powerful your influence is, and the relationship that your child's going to carry into adulthood, and the family memories that they need to have, even if they're resisting every time we try to create some good ones. The goal is not finding someone that's going to fix your child. The goal is becoming steadier in what your family needs. I want you to be the steady leader that your family needs. And that doesn't mean perfection. It means confidence, connection, boundaries, knowing how to help your child to repair, knowing how to show up when everything inside your brain is like, get me out of here. Move this child to a different place, a different room, a different country, right? You need help with that, right? And I keep thinking about this word, stewardship, because to me, it means like these kids, we have this sense that our kids are entrusted to us, especially if you built your family. Well, not especially. Everybody, all of our children are entrusted to us as the adults around them, as the parents. But when you've built your family through adoption, there can be even more sense of like, oh, I brought this into my family, and now what do I do? How do I be a good steward of this child and also my other kids that are obviously struggling with all of this? But our kids, they're entrusted to us, and we are not perfectly equipped. And we all are going to make mistakes. And this is our first experience doing this. Even if you've been a parent for a long time, it's still your first human experience, as far as I know, right? And relationship matters. And the greatest asset that you will ever steward is not your money. It's your family. And stewardship doesn't mean doing it all by yourself. It means deciding that this family is too important to just leave to chance. And so you're going to want to get the support, to learn the new skills, to find your footing, to feel steady. If you're listening today and you're wondering if you can keep doing this, I want you to know something. The fact that you're grieving it means that you haven't given up. It means that and just because you're scared doesn't mean that you're failing. And the fact that you're exhausted doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It means that you are caring more than most people can see. And yet you're still here. You're still listening. You're still showing up. You're still fighting for your family. And that tells me something really important, because you haven't lost hope. You just need support. You do not have to become a perfect parent, and you don't have to have all the answers. You just need practical tools and hope and someone to walk beside you so that you can become the steady leader that your family needs. Because your goal is not to raise easier kids. That's not my hope for you. My hope for you is that it will get easier, but it's knowing that what you're doing, having the confidence that even though it's hard, that it's worth it and that it's going to work. So I just want to thank you for spending time with me today. If this resonated with you, you are more than welcome to share it with another parent who needs to hear it, just so that you know that you're not alone. And if you're ready for support, I would be honored to walk beside you. So subscribe to this video, leave a comment and ask for the parent guide. I will send that to you, and let's start this journey together.